How y'all doing, good people? How y'all doing, good people? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If you're stopping by the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing to my channel. And while you're at it, smash that like button for me. I really would appreciate it. Also, hit that post notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. Be careful down in the comment section of the videos. A lot of spam, a lot of scammers. I will never ask you to contact me by WhatsApp or Telegram. I also do not invest money for my subscribers, so please be careful. Don't get yourself scammed. Guys, if you want to follow me when I'm not on YouTube, I'm going to ask you to get down in that description box and click on that Richard Fain Millionaire Mentor Instagram page. And give me a follow on Instagram. Let me know you're rocking with me, right? Send me a DM. Let me know you're rocking with me. And then I'm going to send you a response to say thank you. I'm trying to get this new Instagram page up and moving in the right direction, and I need your help. So do me a big favor. Get down in that description box. Click on that Instagram link, Richard Fain Millionaire Mentor Instagram link. Send me a DM. Let me know you're rocking with me so I can say thank you. I appreciate your help, guys. I'm trying to get this page up. You guys know my old page I had to disable, and well, Instagram disabled it. I didn't do it voluntarily. They disabled it. So I had to create this new page, and the new page right now got about 5,500 people on it following me. So I'm trying to get it up to about 7,500 by the end of July. So if you can help me with that, guys, please do. Please help me if you can. Website, www.richardfain.net. Website up and running. Over 200,000 of you guys have checked it out. Man, thank you. Thank you so much for going to the website. Check it out. The new website, www.richardfain.net. Again, there's a link down in the description box, second link down in the description box. Go check out the website. Go check out those fantastic financial digital products that I handpicked to help you get to your pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Do me a big favor. Go check those out. And while you're there, if you want to, join the private mentorship club. There's a join button or a membership button in the website. Consider joining the private mentorship club and being part of that. We had a live stream last night. Was on that live stream for 2 hours, Q&A style, answering questions, and it was wonderful. Also, I'm in the live chat every day. I'm posting every day. We got about 700 members over there, guys, and all of them are headed in one direction, which is trying to get to the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So do me a huge favor. Hey, if you want to be a part of that, I'm going to ask you to go check out the website and then sign up for the private mentorship club. And then the last thing before we dive into the topic of the day, which is real estate. We're going to talk about real estate today for about an hour. We're going to talk about this crisis that's starting to bubble up. It's starting to happen again like it did in 2008. And listen, man, we got to pay attention to this. But nevertheless, if it does happen, it does present an opportunity for those of us that want to buy real estate, rental properties, things like that. Hey, it may be an opportunity to pick up some nice deals at a discount if what I'm about to talk to you about comes to pass. It's not good, but we'll talk about that. But before we do, let's dive into Mumu. Let's talk about Mumu for a quick minute. That's my self-directed brokerage app that I use, guys, to buy paper assets and to build wealth. The good folks at Mumu have an offer for you. If you open a new Mumu brokerage account, you put $100 in there, they give you 5 free stocks. If you open a Mumu brokerage account and put $1,000 in there, they give you 15 free stocks. Now that link is the first link down in the description box. Go check out that Mumu offer. Guys, listen to me. I use Mumu. That's my primary brokerage app that I use. Now, for a lot of you folks that are not familiar with brokerage accounts or brokerage apps, self-directed brokerage apps, I'm going to send you some tutorial videos to show you how to use the Mumu app when you open it. So if you get down in the description box, you open up your new Mumu account, you go ahead and fund it, put you some money in it, then all you got to do is send me an email at through my website, www.richardfain.net. Send me an email through the website and say, hey, Richard, I opened my Mumu account and I want to go ahead and take advantage of you sending me those tutorial videos so that I can learn how to use the Mumu app. Because I really do want to collapse time frames and get to my pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And I think paper assets can help me do that. I certainly believe it can help me do it, guys. And that's the reason I'm buying paper assets every day. I'm buying them, I'm dollar cost averaging in every day. The market is open. Plus, I'm dollar cost averaging in once a month. And then I'm buying lump sum investments as well. So I got several different strategies that I'm using to buy paper assets to build wealth. And I don't want you to miss this opportunity. It's the greatest opportunity that I've seen to build wealth. And don't stay on the sideline. So get down in that description box, click on that Mumu link, open up that new Mumu account today, go get that free stock, go get that free money, and then send me an email letting me know that you have opened your Mumu account and funded it. And then I'm gonna send you those tutorial videos from the folks at Mumu to show you how to use the app. And then on top of that, I'm gonna send you 2 extra videos that show you everything that I'm buying. So if you want to copy my plan, it's right there laid out for you, and you're more than welcome to copy it. Well, thank you guys for rocking with me. I've decided to make some slight changes to the YouTube live streams. If you're not a member, if you ain't following me, if you ain't subscribed, you can't make no comments. So sorry for all you folks out there that we're trolling. And I know that's just like a very small percent. I know most of you guys are in here to learn and try to get to your pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. But if you want to watch my live streams, you're going to have to be a subscriber, and you're going to have to be a subscriber for at least a month. You can't just subscribe today. Got to be a subscriber for at least a month. So if you ain't been a subscriber for a month, you can't make no comments. Sorry. For those of you been rocking with me, I see this thing lighting up over there with comments. And I know a lot of y'all are happy about that, because a lot of y'all have said, Richard, I don't want to see all these negative comments from all these people. And they don't bother me, but I know it bothered some of y'all. And I said, you know something, Richard, you got to do something about this. You can't allow this to continue. And guess what? I did. I told y'all, I ain't that technology. I'm not really technology savvy, but I figured it out. So I said, okay, instead of shooting on my iPhone, I'm going to do the live streams on my laptop. Now, I hope the quality is okay for you guys. Again, I'm not some wizard when it comes to this technology stuff. I don't got no 4K live streams. It's probably 720p, but listen, I look okay from what I can see on here. So hopefully I look okay to you guys, and you'll tell me in the comment section if I'm not looking okay, but it looks pretty decent to me. And again, it ain't about 4K. It's really about the information, right? It's really about providing you guys the information you'll need to try to be successful out here in this financial world. And I just said to myself, you know something, if my subscribers are being distracted by a bunch of people who are not subscribers and a bunch of people who just want to be negative, let's just cut them out of the pie. Now they can watch the live stream, they just can't comment. Sorry. All right, let's keep rolling. Let's keep moving, and let's dive into the topic today. And that topic is, listen, guys, we got a problem, right? We got a problem when it comes to mortgage rates. But before we get into it, let's dive back into what happened in 2008. So in 2008, we had the great financial crisis, and it was all driven by what? Real estate, specifically the housing market, right? Where people were going out trying to be real estate developers. They were trying to be speculators. They were trying to be flipping. Everybody was trying to do this. And a lot of people did what? They took out mortgages with adjustable rate mortgages. That's what really caused this thing, guys. Back in 2008, these adjustable rate mortgages started going up, and people could not afford to make the payments anymore. So if I got 2 or 3 properties that I'm in construction on 2 or 3 properties, or if I bought 3 or 4 properties that I'm trying to flip and they're all on adjustable rate mortgages, when those mortgage rates starts going up, what happened? People couldn't afford to make the payments. People had to let the properties go. And that was one of the main things that happened in 2008 that caused the great financial crisis. Was banks were very, very relaxed in their lending guidelines. They were letting people walk in there with stated income, no proof. Oh, hey, bank, I make $200,000 a year. I ain't got to even prove it. I just tell them I make $200,000. They pull my credit. Okay, you qualify. We're going to give you a loan. That's what was happening back in 2008. But the adjustable rate mortgages is really what caused the collapse, in my opinion. All of these mortgages, the rates start going up. People could not afford to pay the monthly payment because of the rate escalation, because it adjusted. So a lot of those mortgages went in default. Banks had to take a lot of those mortgages back. Now, that created an opportunity for a lot of people like me, though, because I was able to then go in and buy a lot of these properties at a deep, deep discount that the bank didn't want. And those are called foreclosure properties. I was able to buy several of those from the banks for the low, because the banks are not in the business to do what? They're not in the real estate business. Banks are not in the real estate business. Banks are in the deposit business. They're in the deposit business. They want to take your deposits for free and turn around and give them to people and make interest on it. That's what the bank is in business. They're not in the real estate business. They're not in the single family home business. They're not in the duplex business. They're not in the triplex business. They're not in the four unit apartment complex business. Banks are not in that business. They don't want to be in that business. So when people like me come along and say, hey, bank, I see you got 2 of these properties and I know you don't want them anymore. I know you want to just get your money out of them. Here's some money. Let me take them off your hands. Those are foreclosure properties. They were created because of adjustable rate mortgages going sideways in 2008. So why did I want to just give you that backdrop? Because it's starting to happen again. It's starting to happen again in 2024. Here's the headline. Thousands of homeowners are about to get slammed with higher monthly payments. That's adjustable rate mortgages. These mortgages, the rate is starting to come due and it's going to adjust. And guess where it's going to adjust? Up, because rates are up. Here we go. Last year, when Jennifer Hernandez received a notice that the mortgage payments on her Houston home would jump about $2,000 per month, she was stunned. See, that's adjustable rate mortgages, guys, but a lot of these people got these adjustable rate mortgages when? When did they get them? Right after the pandemic. That's when a lot of these people were prior to the pandemic, right? Prior to the pandemic, during the pandemic, slightly after the pandemic, people were getting these adjustable rate mortgages. Problem is, these adjustable rate mortgages, they adjust. They can adjust in 2 years, they can adjust in 4 years, they can adjust in 5 years. And this lady right here, her payment jumped by $2,000. How would you like to go to your mailbox, get your mail, walk it back to your house, open it up, it's from your mortgage company, and they say, hey, Richard, your rate just adjusted and your new mortgage payment is going to be $2,000 a month more. How many of us would be able to absorb that? Not many. Not many of us. Hernandez refinanced her home loan in 2016 using an adjustable rate mortgage loan, which has a low introductory rate for a fixed initial period. Unlike the more popular fixed rate mortgage loans, ARMs can offer temporary relief for home buyers who want to avoid paying higher mortgage rates. However, they also come with a risk. After the fixed inventory period, usually 5 years, 7 years, or 10 years, the rate on an ARM loan adjusts periodically based on current market conditions. And that's the thing you got to think about. So when people ask me, hey, Richard, is it a good idea for me to do a fixed rate mortgage? I'm sorry, an adjustable rate mortgage. A lot of times I say, well, how long are you going to have the property? How long are you going to own the property? Oh, no, I'm just going to own the property for a couple of years, and then, no more than 3 years. This is just a stop for us for about 3 years, and then we're going to be moving on. Then at that point, hey, an adjustable rate mortgage might not be a bad option. So why would I take a 30-year fixed rate mortgage at a higher rate, knowing that I'm going to be in the property only 3 years? So a lot of times ARMs will give you the same 30-year mortgage payment feel, right? You'll get the 30-year amortization, you'll get the 30-year loan, but the payment is lower than a normal 30-year fixed rate loan. If I take out a 3-year loan with a 30-year amortization, it's going to be lower. So a lot of people will do that because they know they're not going to be in that property for 30 years or 10 years or 7 years. So they just take a 3-year fixed adjustable rate loan. A lot of people also do that when they can't afford the payment on a normal 30-year fixed rate mortgage rate. Let's say in today's environment, interest rates are 7.5% for 30-year fixed. The bank runs your debt to income ratio, and the bank says, Richard, listen, man, we'd love to do the deal for you, but at 7.5% interest rate, your debt to income ratio is over our guidelines. We can't do the loan. But here's an option. Instead of doing the 7.5% 30-year fixed rate mortgage, we also have a 3-year rate with a 30-year loan, but it's a 3-year rate. It's fixed for 3 years. And that one is 4.5%. So you go from 7.5 to 4.5. Now you can afford the monthly payment under your DTI. It meets their DTI guidelines. A lot of people do adjustable rate mortgages for that situation too. When they can't afford the 7.5% rate, they come back and say, well, we can get you in this 4.5 rate, but you're only going to be locked in for 3 years. So some people do adjustable rate mortgages so that they can actually get the loan. They can afford it, right? So the problem is we're in market conditions right now where interest rates are sky high. So at the end of that 3 years, I get a letter from the bank, and the bank says, Richard, hey, that 4.5% rate you have for 3 years, it expired. Your new rate is going to be 7.5%. So now all of a sudden my payment jumps up, way up, because now I got an additional 3% tacked on to the 4.5 original rate. People can't afford that. And that's what's happening with this lady right here in this article. Her payment went up by $2,000, guys. So let's keep moving here. That means when mortgage rates increase, many ARM loan holders like Hernandez experience the unpleasant shock of significantly higher monthly home payments. For thousands of Americans like Hernandez, who took out ARM loans 5 years ago before interest rates shot up to a 4-decade high, that shock is coming this year. That's why I'm telling you guys, if you're not prepared for that, if you're out there with adjustable rate mortgages and they're starting to come due, this could be catastrophic. It could be catastrophic for us, guys. It reminds me of 2008. I'm telling you, it reminds me of 2008 because what's happening right now with rates are so high and people are so desperate to buy these houses, they're doing things that they are not thinking ahead. They're saying, yes, give me that 4.5% rate for 5 years locked. So I can qualify. I know I can't qualify at the 7.5, but give me. And I'm gonna tell you what another thing people are having happen, where what do they call them? Builders are offering incentives like this too, where builders are saying, well, hey, we'll buy your rate down for 2 years. We'll buy your rate down for 2 years. Okay, you got a 7.5% rate, but we'll go ahead and buy it down to a 4.5% rate for 2 years. 3 years. But then after the end of that 2-3 years, it shoots back up to the 7.5. A lot of builders are working with lenders to do that. Not really your mainstream lenders, not like your big banks, but other lenders like secondary lenders. Some of these builders have their own lending divisions, so they can do whatever they want to do. They have their own lending division. The problem is, guys, you got to understand they're doing that to sell you that house. They do not care if you can afford that mortgage payment once it gets off of their books and you own it now. That's your problem. So just be careful. I know people want to have home ownership. I know people trying to get into these homes, but guys, you do not want to be like this lady right here, Miss Hernandez. You open up your mailbox, you get a statement from your mortgage company, and they're telling you your payment going up $2,000. You don't really want to be in that position. That's not a good position to be in. So please be careful out there for any of you prospective home owners, even for people for rental properties that we're going to talk about here in a second. On the second half of this thing, we're going to talk about rental properties. But be careful, guys. Be careful. So let's keep moving here. So it says right here, mortgage rates have remained elevated, adding fuel to one of the most unaffordable housing markets in decades that lead ARMs to gain traction despite their drawbacks. I just told y'all that. See, that's what happens. When people want to buy a house so bad, they just lose sight of what could happen down the road. And they say, well, you know something? I ain't going to worry about 5 years from now. Rates will be down. It'll be better. Let's go ahead and take the ARM. Let's get into this house. That's what's happening. Excuse me. That's what's happening, right? According to data from Intercontinental Exchange, a global provider of technology and data, 1.7 million homeowners have bought homes with adjustable rate mortgages since 2019. 1.7 million, guys. Now, I know some of y'all will be saying, you know something, Richard, that's just a small amount of the mortgages that are out there, though. You know, they're like, 86 million mortgages out there. It's not a big deal. Oh, it's a big deal, guys. It's a big deal. Because you got to understand, guys, when people start losing their homes because they can't afford the mortgage payment, 1.7 million adjustable rate mortgages out there, let's just say only 500,000 of them went bad. You know what type of ripple effect that's going to have in our economy? Big one. If 500,000 foreclosure actions are underway, you know what type of ripple effect? That means banks potentially now, right? Lenders, right? Investors, everybody will take part in this. All of us will take part in this, right? So 1.7 million homeowners have, it says, the data says 1.7 million homeowners have bought homes with adjustable rate mortgages since 2019. Many buyers who bought 5-year ARMs, one of the more popular offerings, will graduate into significantly higher monthly payments this year, 2024. 2024. The fixed period for these ARMs has already reset for 328,000 homeowners. Can you imagine having a loan that you did back in 2019 at the low, readjust this year where we're at 4-decade all-time high rates? Can you imagine the shock these people are getting when they go from 3.5, 4.5 up to 7.5? I don't know, man. That's a tough one, right? That's a tough one. And then another 102,000 more loans will reset in the next 12 months. I told you about 500,000, guys. And I know some of y'all are saying, oh, that's nothing. Guys, that's a big number. That's 500,000 homes that could potentially go into foreclosure. They could, which would be devastating to 500,000 families. Do you know what the trickle effect of that is? With if 250,000 of those loans go bad. So that means 250,000 families are misplaced. Their financial life has been destroyed. That's a ripple effect in our economy, guys. Just saying. I don't hope that happens, but I'm just telling you. ARM loans gained a bad reputation after the subprime mortgage rates of 2008, 2007. I told y'all that at the beginning of this thing. I told you that's what caused the great financial crisis. I'm telling you. These dang on adjustable rate mortgages. ARM loans gained a bad reputation after the subprime mortgage crisis of 2007, 2008, after many homeowners could not afford to make their monthly payments when their rates reset. I told you that from the beginning, guys. I don't be making this stuff up. See, we got a real world here, and then we got a make-believe world. This real world, this is what happens. When people are trying, and it ain't their fault, they want to have home ownership. That's okay. I mean, everybody probably wants some type of home ownership. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It's just when you get so desperate to do something that you enter into an agreement that could have catastrophic consequences on you down the road. That's the problem. That's the problem. And that's what's happening right now. And that's why I'm telling you, it takes you back to 2008, man. At least me, it takes you back to 2008. While the rate for home buyers choosing ARMs never rebounded to pre-2008 levels, the share of home buyers using ARM loans has doubled over the past 4 years, according to the Mortgage Bankers Association. Doubled. You know what that tells me, guys? Doubled. That tells me even though rates are where they're at, people are still saying, I got to have it. I got to figure out a way. And then you got builders. They're adding fuel to the fire, right? Because you get these emails from I know I still get them. I get emails from different communities where they're building new properties, because before I bought my house here, I was everywhere looking to buy, signing up for stuff, putting my email down. I still get emails right now to this day from builders saying, hey, we're going to buy your rate down for 2 years. You can get into this property. Problem is, most people who buy these homes, they're on fixed incomes. They get in under this lower interest rate scenario. They don't stress test them. See, what they should do to these people is say, okay, if you want this lower rate, that's fine, but we're going to stress test you to the higher rate. And if you can't pass that stress test, if you can't afford that higher rate, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do the ARM for you. See, an ARM shouldn't be used because you can't afford a normal 30-year fixed rate mortgage rate. An ARM should be used for people who are trying to use financial tools in order to do certain things because they know they're not going to be in this house that long. It shouldn't be used because I can't afford the normal 30-year rate. So give me this rate. This is the one I can afford. I just don't think it should be used for that. And I think it should be outlawed. I think ARMs are great. Hell, I got an ARM, but I can afford to pay my house off if the ARM goes against me. I can afford to pay my house off cash. Everybody can't do that. See, so I didn't take an ARM on this property because I couldn't afford the other rate, the big boy rate. I couldn't afford that. No, I took the ARM because I knew I'm not going to be in the property but for 3 years. That's why I took the ARM. I said, well, give me a 3-year rate because I'm going to be in the property 3 years. And if I do get caught with my pants down at the end of 3 years, I'll just pay it off. I got the cash in the bank. I'll just pay it off. See, that's the way an ARM should be used. Not, well, Richard, we can't qualify you for this rate up here, but if you think about this rate down here for 3 years, I don't know if you can afford it once the 3 years are up, but hopefully let's cross our fingers that rates will be down in 3 years. That's not the reason you use an ARM, guys, under that scenario. You use an ARM under the first scenario that I just told you. Figure out what you're trying to get accomplished, how long you're going to be in that property, and then marry the time you're going to be in the property to a rate. That's what you do. And then have you what? an exit strategy just in case that scenario works against you. You got to have an exit strategy. And the exit strategy can't be, I'm going to cross my fingers and pray real hard that rates are down before my rate expires. That's not the strategy, guys. No, the strategy should be, you know something? Hey, even if I get caught with my pants down when this rate expires, I got the cash in the bank. I got the cash in investments. I'm good to go, guys. That's what you should be doing. You got to have an exit strategy with these adjustable rate mortgages. So, is an adjustable rate a good idea? An ARM may make sense for home buyers comfortable with the risk of interest rate increases or those who plan to move or refinance before the fixed rate expires. Same thing I just told you. I told you I've been doing this for a long time, guys. I know exactly why you should use an ARM and when you don't. Same thing these people just said. I gave it to you just a few minutes ago. That's what they're telling you, the truth. You got to manage that interest rate risk. You got to know what you're doing. And you got to have an exit strategy. Right? You got to have an exit strategy. But when opting for an ARM, it's key to keep a close eye on details. Otherwise, things can turn difficult fast. Hernandez, who is herself a loan officer, had a she misremembered the terms of her $1.1 million loan. Rather than a 10-1 ARM, which has a fixed rate for the first 10 years and resets every year after that, Hernandez had taken out a 7-1. So this lady thinking this whole time she got a 10-1, so your rate's locked in for 10 years, she got a 7-1. So it's locked in for 7 years. I don't know how you misread that. When you're looking at loan documents, I guess I do know how you do it because most people don't read the loan documents. Let me take that back. I know how she missed it because most people don't read the loan documents. They just sitting there signing. They happy to get that house. They ain't reading none of the fine print. They don't know what the adjustable rate terms are because they don't read it. They're just excited to get into their new home. And I get it, guys. But you got to read these documents, guys. You really got to read these documents because if you don't, that's on you if this thing blows up in your face. Now, I feel bad for Miss Hernandez, and I hope she has an exit strategy. I hope. Because a $1.1 million loan, I can tell you right now, she had a big old gigantic payment. Because I know I got a big old gigantic payment on mine. And I took out a $1 million loan for this house. It's a big payment. So I can't even imagine, because mine's based on a 4.5% rate. I can't even imagine if hers jumped 2,000, what her new rate is. But I hope she got an exit strategy. This is what she said. I just got caught up and blindsided. Life gets in the way and you get busy. I've been slammed with kids and work for the last 7 years. Last October, Hernandez's mortgage rate jumped by 2.5 to 5.125%. So she must have had a 3.125, right? So she had a dang on good 7-year rate. I mean, pretty good. It jumped up to 5.125, the maximum allowed in the first adjustment year. The problem is that thing can keep adjusting every year, though. That's the problem. That's why they call it a 10-1. That's why they call it a 7-1. See, I got a 3.3. So mine is 4.5% for the first 3 years, and then it can adjust no more than, it can adjust. It'll fix for another 3 years, and then it goes into the permanent rate. Now I'm not gonna have the house that long though. I'm not gonna have the house. I'm out of here. And if I don't, if it adjusts and it works against me, then I'm just gonna pay it off, sell it, and move on. I don't know if Miss Hernandez has the wherewithal to do that, is what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, her rate is going to adjust every year going forward because it's a 10-1. That means Oh, I'm sorry, it's a 7-1. So that means 7 years locked in. But every year after that, for 30 years, it can adjust. So year 8, 9, 10, all the way to 30. That thing can adjust every year. So this 5.125 that she got right now, if she don't do something and rates don't come down, in 2025, it's going to adjust again, up. Just saying. So be careful, guys, with these arms. So the maximum allowed in the first adjustment, that's what they said, the first adjustment, it will adjust every year from year 8 to year 30. So she got to be prepared for that. Most arm loans come with an interest rate cap to prevent costs from spiraling out of control. Hernandez said her arm is capped at 8.125, 5 percentage points above her initial fixed rate. That's good for her. So she does have a cap on hers. That's good. Because if she didn't have the cap, it could just adjust every year. So she has a cap. So her cap is 8.125%. And I guarantee you it's going to keep going up 25, 26, 27 until it hits that 8.125 and then it'll cap out. But think about it, guys. She originally took this thing out with a 3.125 rate. 3.125 rate. It adjusted 2% and it increased her payment $2,000. It still has 3% more to adjust. And if rates don't come down sometime soon, literally her payment could go up by another $3,000, $3,500 over the next couple of years. So she can go from a 3.125 rate all the way up to an 8.125 rate, which could represent, about $5,000 extra mortgage payment in the next couple of years. So she really has to figure out a way to get out of this. Because, again, well, let's hear what she has to say. To Hernandez, it made little sense to refinance the loan while the 30-year fixed mortgage rate remains higher than her new adjusted rate. But this coming October, she suspects her monthly payments will adjust higher. So what people do is they say this: listen, I got a 5.125. The current rate is 7.5. I'm just going to ride out this 5.125 and hope the Fed reduce rates and hope the 30-year fixed rate mortgage rate follows. Instead of just saying, you know something, I'm going to stop the bleeding. Let me find me a 6.5 rate somewhere, lock it in for the rest of my loan term. She's saying, I'm going to stick with the 5.125 and see what happens. The problem is, this coming October, she suspects her monthly payment will adjust higher. I've made it work, but now I'm going to have to figure out how to make it work again this October. So it already went up last October, I'm assuming, $2,000. She's saying this October, it's going to go up again. Now, she's saying from last October to now, she's made it work, but she's not real sure what it will adjust to in this October. It's stressful having to worry about it. I can't imagine. Oh, I could imagine. I guess I could imagine. I can imagine it's stressful. It's stressful. When your payment go from one thing to $2,000 more, and now it's going to go another level. Not only that it's jumped $2,000, it's going to go to another level. I would imagine that's pretty scary. When you think, guys, that'd be scary for me. So I've made it work, but now I'm going to have to figure out how to make it work again this October, she said. It's stressful having to worry about it, right? So Andrew Marquise, a loan officer in Lexington, Massachusetts, said he has recently seen a dramatic increase in ARM loan applications. And I already told y'all why. People can't get into these houses no other way. They got to do ARM. They can't pay the 7.5. They can't afford it. They can't get approved for it. So they come in with the arm at a lower rate to be able to fit in, to make the DTI work. You ain't got to be a rocket scientist to figure that out. That's what people are doing. People are so desperate to buy a house. That's what they're doing. But they're not thinking, see what happened to Miss Hernandez and thousands of other people are going through the same thing she's going through right now. I already told you, 500,000 of these things are coming due this year and next year. 500,000 of them. How many of those people you think are going to be in Miss Hernandez's situation? I would say a lot of them. And I would say a lot of them don't have no exit strategy. Even if you try to sell the house, there may not be demand for it. Remember, somebody got to buy that house, and more than likely, they're going to have to go get a loan somewhere. And that's a high interest rate. So that's a problem. That's what this loan officer here is saying. He's seen a dramatic increase in ARM loan applications. Home buyers increasingly believe that the Federal Reserve will cut interest rates in the next few years, giving these buyers time to refinance their loan before the clock on the fixed period of their ARM runs out, he said. The Fed doesn't directly set mortgage rates, but its actions influence them, which is true. Indirectly, it influences the 30-year fixed rate. This year, the Federal Reserve has signaled it may possibly cut its benchmark interest rate one time. I'm going to tell you right now, guys, a 25 basis point cut in the rate, that's not going to help. That's not going to help. I mean, you got to get the Fed funds rate in the 3s just to get mortgage rates in the 5s. I'm talking about the 30-year fixed rate. So one rate cut is great. It's a start, but it's not going to solve the problem with these ARMs. It's not going to solve that problem. It's not going to, they got to drastically reduce. I'm talking about drastically, not no little snail's pace, but drastically reduce. So here it is. I would say on the jumbo loans we're doing, probably 40% of the loans are doing ARMs, Marquis said, referring to loan products above $766,000. So loans above $766,000 are considered jumbo loans. And this guy is saying 40% of their jumbo loan applications are ARMs. That's telling me, and again, guys, this is my opinion. I know some of these people can afford it, but I guarantee you a lot of them can't. They can't afford the adjustments. They're betting that the Fed will reduce rates before their fixed rate period ends. And I hope that they do, right? I hope they do. Marquis said that taking out an ARM loan might be worthwhile for those with higher risk appetite. And all that means is you got to be built for it. You got to be well-heeled financially. You got to have an exit strategy. And that exit strategy has to be cash. Or you got to have such great income that your income can absorb an adjustment upward in that rate, and that monthly payment doesn't bother you because you got enough income coming in, right? You got to have an exit strategy. You got to have more income, right? If people can save 0.5% on a 7-year ARM versus a 30-year fixed, they're saving hundreds of dollars a month, he said. And that's really what they're doing. Can't fit into the DTI at the big boy rate. Let's go down to this ARM rate. Maybe we can get you under the radar on the DTI and get you qualified. And then let's just cross your fingers that the Fed do what they need to do to reduce rates. That's what a lot of people are doing. A lot of people are doing that. If people can save 0.5% on a 7-year ARM versus a 30-year fix, they're saving hundreds of dollars a month. Interest rates can be unpredictable, Hernandez said. She saved money in the initial 7 years of her loan. But if she could have a do-over, she would likely not have chosen an adjustable rate mortgage in 2016. This increase in payment hasn't felt good, she said. I'm just praying that when my October adjustment comes around, rates have come down a little bit. That's sad, guys. That's sad. But if we're not properly in financial shape, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. If we're out here trying to get in a home so bad that we will put ourselves in financial jeopardy down the road, my recommendation to you is rent, stay where you're at till these rates come down and you can get a proper 30-year fixed rate mortgage rate at the right interest rate that makes sense for you, that you know you and your family can budget that money. We can put it in our budget and we know it will never change for 30 years. That's what I recommend to people. I do not recommend people who are not financially capable of that rate escalating upwards and those thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars in loan payment increase. If you can't afford that now, I wouldn't do an ARM. The only way I do an ARM is I can afford the rate at 7.5. I can get qualified. I can make the monthly payment at the 7.5% 30-year fixed rate mortgage rate. But I decide to step down to the ARM because I'm only going to be in the property 3 to 5 years. I can qualify for the higher one, no problem. I'll take the lower one because I know I'm not going to be in the property that long. And if I do decide to stay in the property, my income is already shown that it's good enough to afford the bigger rate. Plus, I got cash. I got stocks, right? I got some other type of asset that I can readily turn into cash to get me out of trouble. If you ain't got those scenarios, don't do it. Just wait. Just rent until mortgage rates come down, and they will at some point in the future, and then buy and get you a regular 30-year fixed rate mortgage. That's my recommendation to anybody that's looking to buy and they're having heartburn and they can't qualify for the 30-year fixed rate mortgage rate today. I wouldn't buy. I would just sit on the sideline, stack my cash, invest in paper assets, something that I don't need a big down payment. I don't need a perfect credit score. I don't need verifiable income to invest in paper assets. I can take my savings. I can take my side hustle money. I can take my primary income money. I can put it into these assets without having to worry about anything over here on the real estate side. And then once things cool down, rates come down, eventually they will. I built this big old amount of money over here in my stock market portfolio because why? I've been investing. While I couldn't get into the real estate market as a homeowner, I've been investing, building this wealth. Now, all of a sudden, 2 years from now, rates come down. I can afford this rate. I can lock it in for 30 years. But guess what? I done built me like a little nice 5-6 figure nest egg over here because all that money I would have spent on this old large interest rate for this house, all this money I would have spent on this house that was probably way too much house for me, I put it in paper assets. And I just rented an apartment or I rented a regular old house and I was done. That's my recommendation to you folks out there that are thinking about this. Now let's transition into the people on here who actually are thinking about buying rental properties. Because I know some of you have heard me say, this is a great time to buy rental properties. And I stand by that. And I'll walk you through why I believe that. See, right now, we're in a situation with these high rates. Even though prices on single family homes, duplexes, quads, tries are holding, the problem you run into is a lot of people can't afford to qualify for these properties at 7.5% interest rates. So what's happening with sellers? Their properties are just sitting on the market. I'm one of those sellers. The property just sits there on the market and does nothing. People come through, roll the windows down, kick the tires, do the sniff test. They do all of that, but they don't buy nothing. Why? Because just like the article said, most people believe the Fed gonna reduce rates. So what do? Come on, honey, it's a beautiful Saturday. Let's go out and go look at some houses and we'll go ahead and dream build And once rates come down, we'll know the neighborhood we want to live in, and we can strike. That's what people are doing. They're just basically walking around and rolling down windows and kicking tires and doing the sniff test. But they're not buying nothing because they're waiting on rates to come down. So for an investor like you and me, that's an opportunity for us to go to some of these sellers and say, hey, this is what I would do. I would contact the real estate agent for the seller. I'd find the location where I want to buy my rental property. Me, I'm a single family home guy. I like buying single family homes. I'm not really into duplexes. I'm not really into tris. I'm not really into quads. But you can buy those because they're 1 to 4 family, and you get preferential treatment when it comes to your loan rate and your loan type, right? So let's just say you're in the market for a single family home rental that you're going to buy, and you're going to put a tenant in it, rent it out, get the rental income, get the appreciation of the property, get all the tax write-offs. You want to do that. But you're worried about interest rates. And you're saying, well, golly, man, I'm going to wait till interest rates come down. I think that's the wrong move. For somebody that wants to buy a home and live in it themselves, that might be the right strategy. But for an investor, I don't think that's the right strategy. I think the right strategy is to buy now because you can negotiate a lower price because you got no competition. There is no demand. So you can go in and negotiate a better price when there is no demand. When demand comes back, you can't negotiate a better price because there are other people who will pay more than you. So in my opinion, if I'm a real estate investor trying to buy properties to put tenants in to build wealth, this is a perfect opportunity for me to strike. Because what I'm going to do, here's my strategy. I get on Zillow, put in my zip code or whatever zip code where I want to buy properties. This is what I do, guys. I go to Zillow, I go to Redfin, I go to realtor.com, all free services. I go in there and I put in my zip code of where I want to buy this property. And then I go ahead and build out what I'm looking for. Okay, I'm looking for a single family home, 1 story, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, standard size lot in this zip code. I put all that into Zillow. Boom, Zillow comes back with 50 properties. And then what do? I go systematically, I look at all 50 properties. Do they meet my requirements? Age, lot size, bedrooms, bathrooms, right? I look at all of that. Let's say out of that 50 properties, I find 10 that I'm interested in. This is what I do. I call my real estate agent. Hey, real estate agent, this is Richard Fain. Hey, I've been on Zillow. I've narrowed down 10 properties in this zip code that I'd like to take a look at. Richard, have you got pre-approved? Absolutely. I'm already qualified. I've already been to my lender. Here's my pre-approval letter. Here's my purchasing power. I've already have my purchasing power. I'm ready to go. I just need a property. Are you going to help me or no? I can go to the next real estate agent if you're not willing to help me. Oh, no. You got your pre-approval, Richard. I'm going to help you because I know you're serious now because you've already done a lot of the legwork. You've identified the properties that you're interested in. You know exactly what zip code they're in. You've already gotten your pre-approval letter, so you know what your purchasing power is, so you're not wasting my time or the seller's time. Let me do a little this is what I want you to do for me, Mr. or Mrs. Real Estate Agent. I want you to do some research for me. What I really want to figure out is how long have these people had these properties? And then let's talk about strategy on offering them an offer because I don't just want to go look at the properties. I want to be ready to make offers. And here's my strategy, Mr. or Mrs. Real Estate Agent. I'm just going to offer them 20% less than what they got it listed for. So if they got it listed for $400,000, I'm going to offer them $320,000. Take it or leave it. That's the strategy. So my real estate agent, she sets up these little meetings. I go out with her or him. We look at the properties. She's done what I've asked her to do or him to do. And then at the end of that, I'm ready to make offers. Now, I'm not going to get all 10 offers. All 10 sellers are not going to accept my offer. Probably 8 of them won't, because they're going to still think they're going to get top dollar when ain't nobody going to give them top dollar right now because there is no demand. Interest rate's too high. Ain't nobody going to give them top dollar, because if they were going to get top dollar, they already got it. That's the way I look at it. If you're going to get top dollar, guess what? You would not have been holding this property for 8 months. It'd been gone. It's here still because there's no demand for whatever the market said. Listen, I'll give you $320,000 and you can get rid of this property. 8 of them say no. I get 2 of them that want to negotiate a little bit. Listen, I can't do 320, but I'll do 325. I'll do 335. I'll do 345. Either way, I'm getting a discount, is what I'm saying, guys. I'm going to get a discount. You have no choice if you want to sell your property. There is no competition. Here's what's going to happen when rates come down, though. When rates go down, the lower rates go, guess what? That shoves more competition into the market. Now people can afford it. So now all of a sudden, I go from having the upper hand as an investor to not having the upper hand because I got more competition. More competition, sellers like more competition. Why? Drives their price up or maintains their price. Less competition, they don't like that because ain't nobody going to buy it. I'm offering to buy it. I already got my pre-approval. I'm ready to go. So for me, if I'm an investor and I can afford the 7.5% interest rate on the mortgage, or if I'm paying cash, this is the perfect time to buy. Because what's going to happen is when them rates come down, we already know we got 4 million unit shortfall. We have 4 million units in this country that we need to even catch up to where we was pre-pandemic. We're 4 million units short. I'm talking about housing units, 1 to 4 families, housing units. We're 4 million short. So what do you think is going to happen when them rates come down and all of that pent up frustration from people wanting to buy homes? What do you think will happen when them rates come down? Demand going to go through the roof. You already know we got a limited supply. There's no way we can put 4 million units in circulation in the next couple of years. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So what's going to happen is Fed going to start reducing these rates, especially in 2025. Not this year. They may rate cut once this year. But in 2025, if you've been following the Fed and what they've been saying, they're thinking they're going to reduce 4 times in 2025. And the real estate market is going to go through the moon. I'm just telling you, as soon as them 30-year fixed rate mortgages come down under 5%, guys, it's over. We are not going to have enough inventory to keep prices from going up. Go back to 2020, right after the pandemic. That's what you're going to see. That's what you're going to see. When the Fed had interest rates cut to 0, all the stimulus money had been pumped into the economy. All the PPP money been pumped into the economy. Guess what happened to real estate? Went through the roof. In some areas, 100% in 2 years. So if I bought a house for $400,000, it was $800,000 in 2 years. I think you're going to see something very similar to that when rates come down this time. So all I'm saying is if you're a person that's looking to buy rental properties and you're an investor, this may be the right opportunity to get out there, even though rates are slightly high, even though people can price their house wherever they want to price it at. It's only worth what someone willing to pay. That's the attitude you got to have, guys, as an investor. I don't care what you got it priced at. You've had it priced like that for 8 months. That tells me the market says that's not what it's worth. Well, no, my realtor says it's worth this. Okay, why it ain't sold? If it's worth that, why you still got it? Why you ain't sold it? Bird in the hand, better than 2 in the bush. You can wait for the 2 in the bush, but I'm the bird in the hand. I got a pre-approval right here. How about 335? Close in 21 days. I'm telling you guys, that's a powerful statement if you know what you're doing and you're well heeled. Now, what do you got to do to get yourself to in that position? I think you got to be bankable. And Richard, what is bankable? What do you mean by bankable? Because see, I'm a big believer in 5-to-1 leverage. I never buy real estate with cash, ever. Every property I've ever bought in my 25 years of buying real estate for income have been leveraged 5-to-1 OPM. Now, in order to effectively use OPM, you got to be in financial shape, right? You're going to need verifiable income, guys, through your tax returns. No lender is going to lend you one dime unless you have verifiable income. I'm talking about mainstream lenders. I'm not talking about these loan sharks. I ain't talking about no loan shark. You don't need no verifiable income with a loan shark. I'm talking about normal lenders like banks, Rocket Mortgage, regular lenders. You're going to have verifiable income and they're going to run a DTI on you to make sure you can afford the property. Second thing you need to have, you got to have good credit. You're not going to be strolling in there trying to, you got 5 derogs on your credit report, 4 minor derogs, credit score 620. Ain't going to happen. Like I said, you can go to a loan shark and get it, but you're not going to get it from a mainstream bank. And then the third thing you're going to need is down payment money from somewhere. And you're going to have to verify where that down payment money came from. Oh, it just magically popped into my checking account. I don't know where it came from. It got there yesterday. Nope. You're going to prove to them that it's been there and it's yours, right? So you need verifiable income, credit, down payment money. Got those 3 things, you're ready to rock and roll. Second thing you want to do is go get pre-approved. So you know what your purchasing power is. Nobody wants to deal with nobody that don't know if they can even get the loan or not. No real estate agent, no seller. They don't want to deal with that and waste their time on people who haven't been qualified to buy their house or to buy their rental property. You got to go get qualified. How do I do that? Go to your local credit union. Go to your local community bank. Go online to your major banks, right? And get yourself pre-approved. Get your pre-approval. Now you know your purchasing power, right? They already know you're vetted. You ain't got to worry about explaining nothing to nobody. You show them that pre-approval letter. I'm vetted. Here's my purchasing power. I'm dead serious about buying this property. I'm just not going to buy it at that price. And just stand firm. And if you got to go through 50 of those, go through 50 of them to find you one good one that you can get at the price that you need to get it at. So you got to do, guys. Use the online tools I just mentioned to you. Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, Trula.com. Use any of those resources. They're all free and they give you all the information you need. Now, if you're an investor, you're going to need to know how to run a cash flow. Because as an investor, that's going to tell you if the deal is worth you putting your money into it. So what's the cash flow? Pretty simple. You take the gross rental income, you take all the expenses associated with that property, including the mortgage expense, and you subtract it from the gross rents. Whatever's left over down at the bottom, they call that net profit or cash flow. For me, off of the cash flow, what's at the bottom, right? So you got the top number, you got the middle number. The top number in the cash flow equation, the top number is the revenue. It's the rent. That's the top number. The middle number is the expenses. Property taxes, property insurance, repair and maintenance, mortgage expense. That's the middle number. The bottom line number is what you make, what you get. Once you take the top number minus the middle number, the bottom number is what you put in your pocket. For me, I need that bottom number to be 10% of what I actually put in the deal. Give you an example. I got a $500,000 property I'm looking at. Okay, I'm looking at a $500,000 property. I'm going to use 5-to-1 leverage. So that means if it's a $500,000 property and I'm using 5-to-1 leverage, I got to come in the deal with 20%. That's $100K. I'm going to go to the bank to get the other 80% or 400K. That's not what I got in the deal. That's not what I base my cash on cash return on. I base my cash on cash return on what I actually took out of my pocket to put in the deal, which is 100K. So when I'm looking at the cash flow, I'm saying to myself, okay, I need at least 10% annual return on my 100K I put in this real estate deal. The other 400K came from the bank. I don't care about what their return is. They already got their return because they're charging me an interest rate. So they're going to get their money. I need, just like the bank getting its money, I need to be paid too. The bank getting paid on that $400,000 because they gave me a loan and it's probably got a 7.5% interest rate on it. So the bank is making 7.5% every single year on whatever's left on that $400,000 loan. Every year they're going to make 7.5%. They Gucci. They good. Richard Fain need to make 10% on what he put in the deal. The bank get paid, I got to get paid. Bank get paid, I want to get paid. See, a lot of us, we think, oh, golly, I'm going to get paid sometime in the future. Nope, I want to get paid day one, just like the bank getting paid day one. The bank get paid day one, why can't I get paid day one? If I can't get paid day one like the bank getting paid, I don't want to do the deal. I just put my money in the stock market. It's the way I look at it. So how do I do that? How do I determine the cash on cash return on my 100K? Remember, I talked about the top line number. That's the rental income. The middle number is the expenses. Well, Richard, where do I find the expenses at? I'm trying to run the cash flow on this property. I don't know how to find expenses for a property. Pretty easy. Remember those 4 websites I gave you? Trula.com, Realtor.com, Redfin.com, Zillow.com. They just give you all of that information for free. All you got to go in there and look. It's right there. They tell you exactly what the property taxes are. It's public record. It's free information. They tell you. Guess what? If I want to know what the insurance cost will be on a property, guess what I do? I go online to an insurance company and I do an online quote. And in that online quote, they're going to ask me the address of the property and some of the little particulars. Do it all online and poof, it spit out a quote. Okay, Richard, that property you just asked about, it's going to be $3,000 a year for insurance. Bingo, there's my quote. There's my expense quote. So now I take the property insurance, I take the property taxes, and what do I estimate for repair and maintenance? Depending upon the size of the property, it depends on how much you're paying for the property. But my rule of thumb is I always want to put at least $200 per month away for repair and maintenance. That's my reserve. So I add that. So now I got my property taxes, got my property insurance, I got my repair and my repair and maintenance. And then obviously my mortgage expense, I'm going to know what that is because I've already been pre-qualified. So that'll tell me what my monthly mortgage payment is. And I throw that in there. Those are my expenses. Now, if you don't have any of that and you're just trying to do a little quick down and dirty, what I normally do when I'm just doing a quick down and dirty cash flow, what I normally do is just use 30% of the gross rents. So if I don't want to go, go to Zillow and I'm just trying to back of the paper napkin this thing, I'm gonna go to somewhere like rentalmeter.com, put in the address, it'll tell me what the estimated rental income in that market is. It's called rentalmeter.com. Quick, boom, okay, $1,700 a month. Rentalmeter.com says $1,700 a month is the average rental rate in that market, in that zip code. So that's $1,700 a month times 12. Okay, so $20,400 a year is the gross income I could get from the rental income. Now I take 30% of that, so times 30. So my expenses are going to be about $6,120. On top of that, I need to put in my mortgage expense. See, that's it. So I got my gross rents, $20,400. My expenses are going to be $6,120. And then my mortgage expense, let's just say my mortgage expense is going to be $1,000 a month, right? So that's another $12,000. Let's say it's going to be $800 a month mortgage expense. Maybe I'm buying a little less expensive property. You want to throw that in there as well. Let's just say it's $800 a month. What is that? $9,600 a year, right? So now I got $20,400 minus $6,000 for my expenses, minus $9,000 for the mortgage. So that's $17,400. That's what my expenses come to, right? I'm getting $20,400 in rent minus $17,400. So I put $3,000 a year in my pocket for that property. I put $3,000 a year in my pocket, or about $300 a month. And that's how you do the cash flow. Now, for me, though, I would take that $3,000 and say, well, how much did I actually put in this deal? Because I need 10%. So the maximum I could have put in that deal was $30,000. So I can get my 10%, which is $3,000 a year. That would have been a maximum down payment I can put on a property in order to get my 10% cash on cash return. So I would have taken the $3,000, right? And I would have had to put the maximum I could put down payment is $30,000 based on that $3,000 because I need a 10% cash on cash return. So if I put $30,000 down payment on this property and my cash on cash return needs to be 10% and my bottom is $3,000, then I met my objective. The bank got paid their 7.5. I got paid my 10.5, or my 10. I always want to get paid more than what I'm paying the bank. That's the key, guys. I always want to get paid in my pocket more than what I'm paying the bank. If the bank is getting paid more than what I'm getting paid, it's not a deal I want to do. I don't want to make the bank rich. I'm trying to make me rich. So why in the world would I pay the bank 7.5, but I'm not getting at least 10? It just didn't make sense to me. I wouldn't pay the bank 7.5 and I get 4.5. I'm just working for the bank. I'm not working for me. I'm an employee of the bank. And the bank taking some risk too because they gave me the loan. But I'm an employee of the bank at that point. We're not partners. We're partners when I'm making 10% and you making 7.5. That's partnership. I'm working for you when you making 7.5 and I'm making 4.5 on the deal. I'm working for you. That's not a partnership. I'm an employee at that point. You can say you own real estate, but really you work for the bank. So when you're looking at these deals as investors, you never pay the bank more than you're going to get paid. You don't. Now, a lot of y'all going to say, well, you get the depreciation. I don't care about no depreciation. I want what's going in my pocket. I know I get the depreciation to wipe away some taxes, and I don't care about that. What I care about at this small level is what goes into my pocket. And the second thing I care about is the appreciation of the property because that's my long-term profit. So I get instant profit, which is the rental income. That's the instant profit. My delayed profit is the property when it goes up in value every year by 3 to 5%. That's delayed profit because I get that down the road. I get that at the end. And what is the end? That's when I sell the property. I get that at the end because that's when I sell the property. In the beginning, I want my rental income. That's my instant cash flow. That's what I get in the beginning. I get the other at the end. So I love that about real estate. I get paid while I hold the real estate in the form of rental income. I also get depreciation and all the other expenses I can deduct from my taxes. And then at the end, I get a big old gigantic windfall. Because that property, let's say I hold it for 10 years and I get 4% appreciation every year for 10 years. That's a compounded 40% profit over 10 years. I can't beat that. I got all this rental income. I got all the tax deductions. And I'm going to get a big old windfall at the end. And you know the good news about the big windfall at the end? Let me hip you onto a little something. So you know that rental income you're getting, right? Guess what it's doing? It's paying down the mortgage that the bank gave you. The loan that the bank gave you The rental income's paying that down. So let's just say the bank gave me $200,000 for this property. They gave me $200,000. And then for 10 years, I got rental income and I paid that $200,000 down to $100,000 over 10 years. So the rental income paid down the bank loan to $100,000, then I sold the property. That's $100,000, guys, I get with no taxes on it. None. No taxes. That's $100,000 that goes into my pocket that the rental income paid down, and I never pay taxes on that $100,000. That's the nice thing about real estate. That's how you can build, you can make so much money in real estate and never really pay a bunch of taxes. Right? That's one of the ways. Because you're going to take that rental income, it's going to pay down that mortgage. Remember now, the bank gave you an 80% loan. You only put 20% in. So that 80% loan, you never paid no taxes on the 80% loan. So as that 80% loan gets paid down by the rental income every year, it's not going to be an 80% loan no more. It may end up being a 40% loan. That's all owed on it. That other 40% that was paid down, that goes in your pocket with no taxes. I love that about rental properties, right? So yeah, so how do you get paid? Instant from the cash flow, which is the rental income. You get the tax advantages through depreciation and other deductions. You also get the rental income pay down of the mortgage. You get that cash for free, no taxes. The only taxes you really pay, guys, in my opinion, is if you sell the property and you don't roll it into another property on a 1031 exchange. If you just sell it outright, that's really the only place you pay taxes. And then you only pay them on a long-term capital gain basis because you've had the property for 10 years. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, you're going to have recapture of the depreciation. They're going to recapture the depreciation. And I don't care about all that. Go ahead. I still got the mortgage paid down for 10 years for free. I'm going to take that money in my pocket. I ain't going to never pay no taxes on that. So if it was a $200,000 loan that I never paid taxes on, the rental income ran it down to a $100,000 loan. Guess what? I put $100,000 in my pocket without paying any taxes that I didn't have to pay down the mortgage. The rental income did. Now, do I pay on the rental income? A little bit, but the depreciation offsets that. Now, they recapture that at the end, but that's okay. They recapture the depreciation in some cases. They recapture the depreciation and put it on the, and then you got the sales price. Right? You got from what you paid for it to what you sold it for. You got to pay on that gain, but that's a long-term gain if you hold the property more than 12 months, I think. In my case, I hold my properties 5-10 years. So at the end of the day, guys, I made so much money in real estate, it was just pathetic. So much money. The reason I'm telling you that is because you got an opportunity right now with what's going on with this adjustable rate mortgage thing. Again, I don't wish ill on any of those families. But unfortunately, the truth of the matter in the real world, some of those folks won't be able to keep those houses. They won't. They won't be able to keep some of those houses, and some of them may go into foreclosure. I hope not, but some of them will. Also, the better opportunity for you investors is there's no competition in the market right now, guys. Zero. There is zero competition in the market, guys. If you're looking for a wonderful home here in Southwest Florida, in a beautiful gated community, I have one for sale because I'm one of those owners. A lot of tire kickers. But ain't nobody willing to make no price, no offers. Beautiful house, beautiful community. Keep telling y'all. Only thing that saves me is what? What's the only thing saving me in that property that I got? I don't lose no sleep over it. Assets. Only thing saves me is assets because I make enough money and I got enough assets that I don't even worry about that house. I go over there once a week to check it out, make sure the roof ain't fell in from all this rain we getting around here. But that's the only reason I go over there. AC working good, just put a brand new AC in, working great. Only reason I go over there to check on it to make sure the roof ain't fell in from all the rain. And ain't nothing wrong with the roof, but in Florida, you got 3 things you got to worry about. You got to worry about plumbing. You got to worry about roofs, and you got to worry about ACs. Those are the things in Southwest Florida in the summer you got to be paying attention to those. If you don't, your whole house will crumble. You got to be paying attention to that air conditioning unit because it's 1,000 degrees here and it's very humid. And it's raining every single day, nonstop. Well, it does stop, but it rains every day pretty much. And then you got to be worried about the plumbing. That's it. The plumbing, the AC, and the roof. So I worry about those things, even though ain't nothing wrong with them. They could turn on you in a dime. But I don't lose any sleep because I got assets. And I know if anything breaks on this house or that house, anything breaks, I can go into my reserve cash, pay for it cash, and go about my business. But you only get to that point, guys, when you delay gratification, you buy assets over a long period of time and build your wealth. Real estate is one of those opportunities for you. You can build wealth through real estate. I just gave you the blueprint. I just walked you through what you need to do. I just gave you all the free tools. Well, Golly, you didn't put them on the screen. I can't do it if you didn't put them on the screen, Richard. You got to put them on the screen like the rest of the YouTubers. Put it on the screen. I'm not putting it on the screen. I gave it to you. I told you to take notes. If you didn't, go back and rewatch the video again and you can get it. But I ain't putting nothing on the screen. I ain't putting nothing down in the description box. What I'm trying to get you guys to understand is it's an opportunity for you to build wealth, and it ain't hard to do. I just gave you the blueprint. You're going to pay some guy $15,000, $3,000, $3,500 for a real estate course, and I just gave it to you for free. I just gave you the real estate course for free. I told you exactly what to do. Some of y'all will listen, some of you won't. I don't know. But I just gave you the real estate course for free. You're going to pay some guy $3,500. Well, I'm going to pay him $3,500 because he puts it on the screen. I can see the screen. He goes in and shows me every website. He's going to show me realtor.com. He's going to show me Zillow. He's going to show me how to plug in all the numbers to Zillow. Guys, come on, man. You're going to pay a joker $3,500 for information they're going to give you for free? Come on. Come on. It's free. Go to Zillow.com and do exactly what I told you to do in the video. Go to the search bar and put in the zip code and hit enter. That's all you got to do. It's going to populate it with 100 properties. And then you just go through each one of them and figure out which one you like. Age, property type, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, lot size. All that you can drop down box, put it all in. You ain't got to type all it. Just hit the drop down box. Hit the drop down box. Poof. 50 properties right there without you getting in your car doing nothing. So I keep telling people, what are you riding around here and looking? Oh, I'm going to go ride around. No, for what? Go to the internet, do all of that stuff in one search. Narrow it down, get you a pre-approval, go get you a real estate agent, and then you go look at properties. I'm not going to no neighborhoods and look at nothing without doing my research first. Why would I waste my time? So I walk you through the entire blueprint. Again, watch the video again if you didn't quite catch it. But that's the blueprint to build wealth, guys. And I did that process every 2 years. I would buy a property. And I did that for 25 years. Just like I just told you. Well, where am I getting my tenants from? I got to figure out that. I don't know anything about getting tenants. You shouldn't be hiring a real estate firm that don't help you put tenants in the property. Find you a real estate firm that specializes in selling properties, helping buyers find properties, and helping real estate investors put tenants in properties. There are real estate agencies that do it all. Everybody can't be sell $5 million a year in real estate. Some of these new real estate agents have to get rentals until they can cut their teeth and get to the big boy level. A lot of them start off with rentals. They put people in rental properties and make them $200-$300 commission until they can get better at selling big real estate deals. So if you get you the right real estate agency, they'll have all that under one roof. It'll be all in one roof. That's what I did. I never went out and found tenants on my own, but this is what I would tell my real estate agent. I'd say, listen, you got to vet these people. I want background check, credit check, employment verification, and I want them to pay a fee for the application. And they did all that for me. I paid them like $150, $200, $250 to put the tenant in there, and that was done. They would get $250 out of me But they would do all the work. And before they did anything, I'm the one that gets to say the tenant is good to go and sign the lease. So they would provide me that information. I would take a look at it. Either I pass or I don't pass, and we go to the next one. But they did all the legwork, and I paid them for it. And it was money well spent. See, I keep telling y'all, you do not have to be an expert in all of this. But for some reason, we think we do. We think we got to be an expert. I got to be an expert at finding tenants. I got to be an expert at finding a property myself. No, you don't. You just got to be able to go to the internet and do some research on Zillow.com for free, Truly.com for free, Realtor.com for free, Redfin.com for free. It's all free information. It's right there. And I told you how to find the property insurance quote. Any insurance company that provides homeowners insurance, guys, you can go on their website and do it for free and get a quote right through the website without talking to any human beings. And all I want to do is get a rough estimate. And if I don't have any of that stuff, I find out the rental income rate in the area to rentometer.com. I go to rentometer.com, type in the address within a 5-mile radius. It's going to come back and tell me, Richard, this is the average rent in a 5-mile radius of this address. That's free, guys. I take that rental income, I take 30% of it as my expenses, subtract it out. I go to the internet I go to a mortgage calculator on Google. I can go into Google and type in mortgage calculator. It'll pop up for free. Put my bank loan amount in there, current interest rate, 30-year fixed, hit the button. Boom, gives me my principal and interest payment. I mean, guys, that's all you got to do. Got my rental income, got my expenses, got my mortgage expense, boom. Whatever's left over at the bottom is my profit. Then all I got to say to myself is that 10% of what I'm putting in the deal? If it's not 10% what I'm putting in the deal and I'm paying the bank 7.5, then it ain't a deal I want to do. I move to the next property. And I just do that over and over till I find one that makes sense. Call my real estate agent. Hey, I found the property I like. I know what they're asking. I'm not going to pay that. But you and I are going to go take a look at it. I'm already pre-approved. Let me send it to you. I want you to show this to the seller that I'm the real deal Holyfield. I'm ready to go. So when I come in there and give him that lowball offer, he ain't going to be offended. And it ain't really a lowball offer. It's a 20% off. That's not really a lowball offer. That's what I'm willing to pay. And in the world I live in, it's what I'm willing to pay, not what the market says. Properties are bought and sold by two people or companies or somebody that agree on a payment, agree on a price. That's how deals work. I don't care what the market says it's worth. Has anybody gave you that for it yet? No. Well, here's a real offer. You think about it. Or you can hold the property for another 8 months. That's up to you. Just saying, man. Well, appreciate y'all, man. I'm going to get on out of here. It's been real. Get down in that description box for me now. Click on that Mumu link. Go get that free stock. Go get that free money. Y'all already know Mumu is my brokerage app that I'm using over the next 10 years to quadruple the net worth. I'm going to ask you guys to try it out. If you want to be able to put yourself in a position to buy paper assets, guys, no better way to do it than with the Mumu brokerage app. Plus, they got a sweet offer for you. When you open the brokerage account, you put $100 in there, they're going to give you 5 free stocks. When you open the brokerage account, if you put $1,000 in there, they're going to give you 15 free stocks. Where else you going to get that, guys? Nowhere. So get down in that description box, join your boy, Richard Fain, and utilizing the Mumu brokerage app to build wealth. And the good news is I'm going to send you tutorial videos to show you how to use it. Guys, I mean, come on. You can't beat that offer. You're going to get 5 free stocks. You're going to get 15 free stocks, depending upon how much you put in. Plus, I'm going to send you tutorial videos done by the good folks at Mumu to teach you how to use their brokerage app. And I'm going to send you my wealth transfer blueprint 1.0, 2.0, showing you and outlining to you all the investments that I'm buying. So if you just want to copy my plan, that's all you got to do. Copy my plan and you're good to go. Plus, when you're over at the website, www.richardfain.net, second link down in the description box. When you're over at the website, check out the digital products. Got some beautiful digital products. One of those digital products is investing in real estate with little to no money down. So for a lot of you real estate investors on this call, a lot of you potential real estate investors, a lot of you folks that are curious about real estate investing, that's where you step. All this information I gave you for the most part is in that ebook. Go check it out. And do me another big favor. If you purchase the ebook and you go through it and you still got questions, email me. Now, I'm going to know if you purchased it, guys, because I got a record of everybody that purchases. Don't be trying to backdoor me now and tell me, oh, no, I purchased it, but it's just not sure. No, I get it. I know everybody who purchased everything because it sends me the email addresses and the names. So if you don't match up, I can't help you. But if you purchase that ebook, that investing in real estate with little to no money down, if you purchase that ebook, you go through it and you have additional questions, all you got to do is email me through the website, show me proof that you purchased it, because I'm going to be able to look it up, and I will be open for any additional questions that you have. Any additional questions for as long as you need me to be there, I will help you through that process. But you got to show me proof you purchased that ebook from my website, Investing in Real Estate with Little to No Money Down. That is your ticket to have me on your real estate team for eternity. For eternity. So go over to the website, www.richardfain.net, second link down in the description box. Go purchase that ebook, Investing in Real Estate with Little to No Money Down, and now I'm on your real estate team. So if you go to any of those websites I mentioned, you run into any roadblocks, give me your email. Give me an email and I'm going to work you through it. We're going to walk you through it. All right? Fair? Is that fair? That's a fair exchange of value, right? You go buy the ebook, go through the steps in the ebook. If you run into a roadblock, you come call me. That's a fair exchange of value. And that's what we're talking about here in this world, guys. We got to be able to give a fair exchange of value, right? Well, appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all for walking with me. One last thing, get down that description box. Please click on that Instagram link. Follow me on Instagram, on the new Instagram page, Richard Fain Millionaire Mentor. Give your boy a follow. I really would appreciate it. Thank y'all for hanging in there. We had a lot we had to cover. Hopefully it was helpful. Do me a big favor. Do something special for yourself today. Also, do something special for somebody else that has nothing to do with money. Please do that. Lock it in with a thumbs up before you get out of here. I appreciate y'all. I might even be back this afternoon, early evening, 6 o'clock with a second live stream on something totally different. So if you ain't got enough of Richard Fain, stop back at 6 p.m. Eastern time today. You might get a double dose of Richard Fain if that's what you want to do. If not, have the rest of a wonderful day. And I'm going to see you guys tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Thoughts become things. See it in your mind. Hold it in your hands. You guys keep chasing your greatness. Never stop believing in yourself. Stay healthy. Get wealthy. And I'm going to catch you on the next one. Peace.